actually done. Otherwise, you may end up getting a system that may be flawed along the way, and then you may be forced to make an upgrade or to pay additional fees because this doesn't, it's not there, etc., etc. There's a lot. So the wider consultation is going to make it better for you. And then also at the end of the day, the testing also becomes key because other stickers can test and give you feedback, and then you can go. That's just advice I had for you.
Thank you, Honorable Honorable Chairman. I think all what he has said, we have done a very elaborate stakeholder consultation. In the first place, what we did was a process mapping of our systems, the current system, and what we want the new system to be. You know, and we did a very comprehensive process mapping, and as a result of that, we hired a consultant firm was hired to do that process mapping. After that, all honorable is in, we take into the all stakeholders. We conducted some validation workshop of these processes, and with a view to having a new system that is modern and capable of being integrated, because we want an integrated system so that ministries will no longer be sending us certain letters. They'll just be able to access it, the system, and do certain HR functions, basic HR functions, without having to physically write a letter to PMO. So we want that kind of integrated system, you know. So currently, the World Bank is floating the consultancy to hire a consultant system developer to develop us a system. So when we get the system, it is going to be a very, complete system. In that, those alerts, there will be alert systems. If somebody's leave of study leave expires, we'll get an alert. If somebody's secondment expires, we'll get an alert. If somebody's leave of absence expired, we'll get an alert. But currently, we don't have any such alert. We have manual file lying there. If you give your secondment for 2 years and it expires, we are dealing with 50,000 people. You know, we cannot remember that somebody's study leave has expired, and we must revisit that and maybe write to him and say your study leave has expired. So what happens? Sometimes some will sit after 6 months or 1 year, write to us and say they are seeking for extension of study leaves. So we are always extending retrospectively sick leave, study leaves, you know, leave of absence. We are dealing with case of retrospective all the time, trying to extend it backward in time. But as I said, even this biometric time attendance, we want to link it to that system in a way that if you don't report to work certain number of days, if you're absent, automatically the system will sort you out. Your salary will be stopped. So we want system to come up with all that features. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much. I think you have qualified the audit query. So here, what monitoring mechanism is in place in the absence of that new system? Do you have any monitoring mechanism?
Yeah, currently we run a monthly report of the payroll because the minister ensures that during our senior management meeting there is a standing order that the director responsible for the system has to run a report of the payroll of the system, and any anomaly we see will be detected early, and necessary action will be taken. But as I say, it's a manual search, it's a manual thing. You know, you have to be checking the system to see by ministry. We check the system by ministry. For example, if somebody retired and we see that the salary is still on the payroll, we'll detect it. If somebody has left on secondment and his salary is still running, it will allow us to detect it. So we're doing that on a monthly basis now, so that to avoid this kind of, because the project, as per one of the DLIs of the project, is that the approved manpower should match with actuals in the payroll. What is approved in the manpower should they should match. And how do we ensure that? We have to check the payroll by ministry every month. If we see any discrepancy or any, we try to flag it and try to investigate. So that's what we are doing. But as I said, the process is somehow manual, and really it's not coming in real time. Thank you.
Page 97, stagnated temporary appointments. The finding indicated stagnated temporal appointments, and on that, the audit recommended that management should address the issue immediately and conduct periodic review of payroll database and make adjustments or adjustment where necessary. Management response.
Honorable Chairperson, we recommend that, the PMO has adopted a comprehensive staff head count for the payroll every 2 years to establish ghost workers and to regularize the HR status of central government payroll staff.
It is incomplete. The management response, he hasn't completed reading the management response.
Upon completion of the physical staff audit, physical staff verification, PMO will clean up the payroll by updating the HR status of each staff.
Auditor's comment. The finding still remains unresolved up to the time of finalizing this management letter.
Yes, as I said earlier on, the database or the system that we are currently using, we know that there are a lot of irregularized status of staff. Some staff have
When?
about 2021. So we inherited the entire database from the accountant general, and since then we have been working to clean it up, because there are a lot of gaps, like date of births are missing in many instances, and we have each staff or we try to update those date of birth, those gaps, and other gaps that we have found in the data we are trying to update. We are working with accountant general to ensure that these gaps in the database, are rectified from time to time when we come across with those gaps. Like date of birth an issue, because that determines when somebody should go on retirement. We are able to run a query 6 months to 6 months before the end of every year to generate a report on staff due for retirement for the subsequent year. So if the date of births are not correct, we are not able to generate that report accurately, and somebody take advantage of the system and overstay because they are not notified on time. So there are some gaps in this, and as I said, the idea is Now we have this staff census we are embarking is a different one because we are a consultancy firm is hired for the first time that is helping to collect the data in a way that both pensioners and active civil servants will be covered for the first time. The idea is we want to get the clean data of every civil servant updated so that when we get the new system, we have a updated status of every civil servant. So we are working on that. Thank you.
Accountant General.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I just don't want to go back to what the PS has said because this is factual. This has to do with the inputters, people who are capturing the changes and also the inclusion in the database for the payroll. My observation is on the auditor's comment. You know, in as much as a temporary appointee is not entitled to certain benefits, but this bit that says that the database reveals scores of appointed officers, some of whom have been appointed since 1972, remain stagnated on temporal appointments, and this indicates this staff will not be benefiting on the retirement benefit. I think it is misplaced. So in as much as temporal appointees are not entitled to certain benefits, but that is not, maybe it is just their status on the payroll that has it as temporal, but when they go to look at their job titles as well as their longevity in terms of service does not correspond to a temporary appointee. So in that case, that contradicts what is being said here, that these people will not be entitled to certain retirement benefits and other benefits. In addition to that, I have also looked at the appendix that is mentioned here, i.e. Appendix O. I have not seen in that list of employees anybody whose hire date is in 1972. However, I am not refuting the fact that you can find that in the payroll, but as part of what is said, in terms of contextualizing what is being said, I think it is misplaced. Thank you.
National Audit.
Yes, I think we also differ with the Accountant General in that saying that temporary appointees are entitled to gratuity and other benefits. If you are on temporal appointment, you do not receive gratuity. It's very clear. Mr. Ba is here. He normally deals with gratuity computation. He can confirm that our statement is correct. And for this order, 1972 is the first item on the appendix. Maybe you oversighted it.
1970?
1972, the appointment for 1972 is the first item on appendix O. Just check in the appendix.
I've not seen 1970. Okay, it's up there.
Yes.
Sorry, it's on the floor. Wait, yeah. 1972 is there.
Yes.
Yes. Accountant General, you can confirm 1972? There's only one item for 1972. It's up.
1972, you would not be in the system by now. You would have retired since 1970. So basically, then it is inputting error, and what Accountant General is mentioning is this is an inputting error as opposed to what obtains in that individual's file. So now in that individual files, you would process his gratuity because of he is on pensionable position and he's confirmed in appointment and all those kind of things. But it's just the status in the system that is misplaced.
And also, point of correction, I did not say temporal employees are entitled to retirement benefit. I did not say that.
That's your submission, because that's what the finding says. That's what we said. You read the finding.
What I am saying is, you know, I expect the auditors to do their work with reasonableness and accuracy. So, and be guided by the substance of the matter as opposed to what you see literally, you know? Because now, here, if you go to the payroll, you see my status there as temporal. And you see, you know that this is Agnes, you know, who is not in a temporal position, you know. You can query the fact that my status in the payroll is wrong. But you cannot now say that I will be receiving retirement benefit that I'm not entitled, you know. So I am accepting the fact that you would have situations where some of these fields are not correct as per the employees in there, you know. But then to attribute it to other things that are not in, it has to be put into context. That is all I am saying.
Yeah.
Yes, Honorable.
Yes. What we are seeing here actually is some issues. I would call it actually human error. But if somebody, in fact, if you look at this list, I can almost guarantee you that most of them anyway would not even know them, whether they're temporary or they're permanent staff. So the query itself, what they say, actually I think is correct. Because what happens is the status of the employee matters, whether you are permanent staff or you are a temporary staff. Ordinarily, if you are temporary staff, because he knows you, for example, if I say Agnes temporary, I say no, something's wrong here. But then the other staff, I would not know. So that's a fact. So the issue is, I think there's an error in the system which PMO actually has acknowledged. So I think they just need to go back. But what I would say here is this: the input in the system, there must be some kind of verification, either internal audit or somebody else to verify, because we are all human beings. You can have input in error, and if somebody doesn't go there to check whether what you've been given to input, there could be error, and that error will continue. So what I would suggest is this: whenever there's somebody inputting anything in the system, somebody must be there to verify or approve that input. Otherwise, errors will continue because we're all human beings. So that thing that's fine. But the way this is put from the system, I think for me when I look at it, I say, how can we have all these temporary people here, whatever. So, but from the explanation, it's fine. Meaning that they're doing some manual work somewhere. You have to go back to the file and then look at it whether this is temporary. You know, that's you know. So. Thank you.
Honorable Chair. Yes, I think the Accountant General should respectfully withdraw that statement, because it's already confirmed by PMO that there are irregularities in the system. So to say that our finding is misrepresentative, I think that is too serious a statement coming from the Accountant General. So she need to, withdraw the statement. Thank you.
I don't think I said it's a misrepresentation.
Could be incorrect.
Exactly.
But now it's confirmed to be
It's
false.
not a misrepresentation I used.
It could be an input in error.
Exactly.
Not misrepresentation. Right?
Yeah.
So she's trying to say that maybe if that was what was said, that was not her position.
Exactly. They were not my words.
Or not her words.
I know what you mean.
In fact, I was thinking of putting her on point of order. Imputing, yeah. No, we don't. The assembly doesn't work that way. In fact, the way I hear it, it's like she's imputing improper motive on the Auditor General's office. So on that note,
Honorable member, she did say it's not her words. Let's bury the hatches. And that's the withdrawal, not my words. PS, I saw your hand.
Well, mine is just a word of advice to the auditors because we are working. Yes, because what I'm saying, what the Accountant General was saying, like when the PMO is in charge of files of civil servants. Now, at any point in time, we are not aware. Yes, you can look at the system, but the system is not enough to conclude, I believe. So we have the files, manual files. If you file Lamin status unestablished or temporary, I believe for that audit to be complete, you should reach out to PMO where every civil servant's file is kept to verify whether what the system is saying corresponds with what the file is saying. Because really we don't have a perfect system. And I believe the auditors should know that by now that the system is not perfect.
I don't think that should be the responsibility of the auditors. You don't have a perfect system. That should not be the advice for the auditors. That advice should be for yourself. Try to work on improve your system.
Yeah. But Chair,
Yeah.
now in fact, if you when at the end of the audit, you are presented with a draft document. And in the draft document, they tell you A, B, C, these are queries. You read the query. In fact, you responded to the query. So for me, in fact, by you responding to the query, you've accepted the query. Because if you didn't accept the query itself, you could have gone and say, no, I don't accept this query. But in it, you are trying to explain how you go about fixing this issue. So essentially, you've accepted the query. So the thing is, I think the query was really very valid. We've also confirmed that there's an issue with the system, and the PMO has confirmed that they are working now to ensure that all these are fixed. I think now we need to move to another issue.
Yes.
So I don't know how far are they in terms of this query we are talking about, because the problem that I normally have personally, like when you come here, something that should be solved because you are there, you are responsible to improve the standard. So whenever issues come, we start talking about the system, and you are there, and you are responsible to improve this system. So right now, I just want to know whether this is 2021 audit. So whether right now, do you address this issue? Thank you.
Can I respond? Okay. I think it has been said here. One of the deputies, when he started answering questions on this, he mentioned the staff audit. And the PSPMO, when he came, he mentioned the staff audit. Those are actions. Like we said before, we know where we have certain anomalies in the payroll or the payroll database, and we're working towards it. And that is why it came out as a priority. And we reached out to our development partners, and they are now supporting us, which we are implementing. The staff audit is to start tomorrow. And once that is done, apart from just looking at the status of employees, you have dates of births, you have the numbers, whether the numbers that we're paying are the real numbers that we should be paying, whether we're paying people the right amounts that they should be paid, all that. So we're looking at it holistically. And then my other point is to do with auditors. They know they cannot just depend. They need to corroborate the information they obtain. And they cannot just depend on one area before making their conclusion. And that is what we are trying to say. You just don't look at things on the surface. You look at it in conjunction with other information to help you to make an informed judgment or decision before you conclude on this. Like, for example, you have PMO, who is the custodian of all personnel records. You have also department heads who are required to maintain personnel files of their staff. So if you find out, which they do, obviously. So that is why I said what I said. Because you cannot just, they don't even do that. That is why they have third-party confirmation as part of their work, so that whatever they say, they have a basis of saying it. You know, because I'm saying, if, for example, they have looked at the personnel file, the people who are involved, in their personal files, they would know whether that is correct or wrong. And in that, they would not have said that this indicates that this staff will not be benefiting on the retirement benefits when they retire. Because you go to the payroll, you see that their status is temporal. Likewise, you go to the length of service, you see that these people have been on the payroll for 10, 20 years. Automatically, you know that the only problem is changing their status. But these people have served for government for 10 years. And once you serve for 5 years, you're entitled to retirement benefit. 10 years, you have gratuity and pension. Automatically, you know that this is the only problem. And then you look at his personnel file, you know that this person has been moving from one step to the other. So then you would bring the query differently to say these people, yes, they should not be here because their status has gone beyond A, B, and C. They should have been changed. Then they would not bring about the issue of retirement benefit. Maybe they would carve it differently. But then you look at this, people who do not know our procedures and our processes, you know, they would think differently as opposed to what is currently there.
Chair.
You know.
Yes, I think we need to, yes, just a second, Cham.
Honorable Jamme
Yes.
asked,
He
maybe he was
responded
not
to, yes.
in
Yes.
when the PS was giving those explanations, and that was actually addressed. But we are also going to different issue.
Yes.
Yeah. You should have limited yourself to
Yes, to the answer only, yeah.
question asked by Honorable Jamme.
Yes.
Yeah, there is system error, and we are working on to improve the system. Basically, when that is done, we'll not be blaming each other. Yeah. Don't bring in.
Touch on that, but the exercise that we are doing here currently, like Mo has rightly said, after the auditors have done their auditing, they will send you a copy of the report, and you will respond to issues. And some of the issues that you are responding to right now, you are bringing forward, it would have been better you respond to them during the time that you were given the opportunity to respond to such issues. And what we are saying here is that the auditors, my understanding is that they are just performing oversight and reminding you what to do, making life easier for you if you take it that way. For instance, this query here. You know, if you are doing proper monitoring, that's what they are telling you. You should do this. So, finish. Thank you.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, I only want the AG to clarify this point of having, you know, the system not being updated as it's supposed to be. And in the system, there are people who were like way back 72, for example, that they've given here, the auditors have given, and herself. So, but then the people who were supposed to go on retirement or who are not yet supposed to go on retirement, and in the system, for example, since their date of birth is not being regularized, and there is that, you know, let's say, I wouldn't call it malpractice, but there was that misupdate in that system. And now that those people should still be in the system, what do you plan to do, you know, to make sure that those people recover what they're supposed to do, to have? Thank you.
I don't understand.
No, in short, what I mean is, you know, the date of birth that were supposed to be updated in the system as it's supposed to be, it hasn't gone that way. So either over age or underage. So what do you plan to do for the ones that are still in the system and they were supposed to retire and they're still on the payroll? What do you plan to do, the minister, your department's plan, to make sure that that's been regularized, or those that are under age?
Okay. The permanent secretary PMO does not only rely on, which means we don't only rely on the date of births that are in the system, you know. And this, your question, is a bit different from what we were discussing before, because that is the status in terms of your whatever. But for the purpose of the retirement age and the dates of birth, PMO does a yearly an exercise yearly. I don't know during the year how many times they do, but they would look at the personnel files based on the HRMIS. This, what we are discussing, is on the payroll, but then they have also a system, HMRIS, where they have this the dates of birth of staff, including their personnel file. And they would go through those files, compare, and then they would fish out those people that are due for retirement, you know. And once that is done, they would publish it to the different sectors that are affected, where those staff are. And that is how they monitor, and then they will work on their retirement benefits. So basically, they do not look at their status as they have them, whether it is temporal or established in the system, to be able to work on the retirement or their retirement benefits. So they don't look at that. So there is a mechanism in place to track those people that are due for retirement.
So are you telling me that in the system there is nothing like those that are due for retirement are still in the system?
No, because that is
None
an
of them.
HR function. This is the payroll we're talking about. In the HR function that is handled at the PMO, that is their daily routine.
But you know, this one has a connection with the payroll as well, because since it is a HR system, meaning they're still on a payroll. Because once the person is still in the system, meaning the person is still on the payroll.
Yes.
So that's where it connects.
They would communicate to the accountant general, and they would also, because they're the ones handling the payroll now, they would stop the person when the due date is concerned. When the due date arrives, not concerned.
Yes, no, I think what is clear here is that what the auditors pull from the system is actually correct, based on the status. But what the AGD is saying is that in computing the retirement things, they don't use that. They have another system which could be manual. Now, if I were them, that's what I was going to put in the response. That yes, you are right. However, in the computation of a retirement benefit, we use this system, different from the system you have. That could have been very clear. But based on what we have here, as system is concerned, if you want to rely on the system to compute, you'll have a problem because it's not accurate. However, they do it differently, and life goes on. Yeah.
Honorable Chair, I just want to emphasize this point again. I think this audit took us a while, almost 2 years to conclude, and the Accountant General was given adequate opportunity to respond to all the queries. We gave them queries. As you know, the audit is a process. These queries were sent to them. They responded, and we evaluated. Some of those queries that were not resolved, they were reproduced in the draft report. So she had that opportunity to clarify with us on all these issues. And secondly, the other issue of the computation of gratuities, even with the computation of gratuities, which we do confirm once they do the computation, we also come across some of these issues that we are highlighting here. Time and again, we've been, sending files back because of these issues we are mentioning here. So it's still a current issue. Unless this issue is addressed, then this will keep on recurring. So the appeal here is for them to go and fix this issue so that it becomes no issue in the near future. Thank you. management response, the deficits at CBG amounts to 16,465,990, whilst the receipts amount GTR total to 16,394,440. That is a copy of the analysis in the appendix N.
Any
Auditor's comment. While the deposits show an amount of $16,465,990, and the amount and the total amount as per the GTR is $16,394,440. There is still a difference of $71,550. Hence, the issue remains unresolved.
The difference has reduced from $544.50 to $71,550. Accountant General of Finance.
Mr. Chair, this we worked with the Minister of Finance to carry out this analysis, and from what we have under the response, it's like more money was deposited than the GTRs. Unfortunately, to this extent, we could go. We are unable to fish out why you had more money than the receipts, but I believe it's not much of a risk because you paid more. Yeah. So like I said, we did everything to try to tie it up, but you still had more money at the bank than the GTR totals. So that was it.
Honorable Chair, I think there is still a risk in this because with one GTR you can collect 10 million, 50 million. It depends on what you are dealing with. So to say that because what was deposited is more than what was the GTRs give, I think that's they still need to do a proper investigation and know why there was this discrepancy. So if GTR can collect as much as what you are dealing with, so there is no limit for a GTR. It can be 1 million, 10 million, 50 million, 100 million. So that needs to be investigated. Thank you.
Any further comment on it?
Sorry. The Ministry of Finance to look into this.
The Ministry
of Finance to look into this, yeah. Here.
Finance to look into it.
Yeah.
But I think the Accountant General has more technical.
No, it's not about the technical. The reason I'm saying this is because we have seen the deposits, tied them up to the receipts that, were submitted, and it is not possible for one to overpay and just keep quiet about it. So it's likely that there is still some documentation, given that the auction is, handled at the Ministry of Finance. Maybe there's still some documentation that did not come out, just from that perspective. So if we work with you, maybe we will be able to bring out more documentation, so we use it in looking at or arriving at why do we have this as a difference.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because there are even some other issues later that I think you'll have to go back and look at them relating to this subject matter.
Okay.
So then, yeah, we can try to work with them and see.
Can we proceed to page 118 or 119 rather? Assets value are not seen during auction. They are listed in the table amounting to 440,000, and on that the audit recommended that the ministry should provide all assets that were valued and not presented during the auction for confirmation by the audit team. Ministry.
Mafia, who served as secretary to the auction committee, has engaged all sectors concerned to provide information on the assets value not seen, but this information is still pending from the sectors.
Auditor's comment. The issue remain unresolved up to the time of finalizing this management letter.
Yeah, even before I came here, I tried to engage the DPS responsible for it, so that to have a response, an appropriate response for this. But the information I got from him is it's gonna be difficult for him to be able to provide it right away. So he has to engage the other sectors, and that can take at least some time. So I think the committee can give us time.
When was this audit completed? Can you guide me?
This was completed, 2021 was completed in September 2025. The final report.
September 2025.
Yes. But
And the
prior to this, there was management response.
management response.
Yes. The draft management response. The
When
draft
management response are done, institutions are aware of the situation, and by that, they will henceforth try to work on it to regularize. We cannot wait until when we are called at the National Assembly, then that's the time you start to regularize. DPS,
Yes.
that was no excuse.
No.
The person is quite aware of the query and the question of the management response. In fact, the response came from the ministry. By that, the ministry should start working on it since September 2025.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I think, as I said, there must have been an internal communication issues. So, but notwithstanding, as at now, that's the only option that I think you can give us time to go back and look at this.
The time we're given is fortnight.
Fortnight.
Yes, that will be on the 19th February.
To report back to you.
Huh?
Okay.
To Parliament, to Fpac.
Okay.
Hmm? Yes, Honorable Mbo.
Yes, I just wanted to ask the PS the role that is played by AGD in the auctions. What role do they play?
AGD, I think they are also. You have a representative in the auction team, Agnes.
Yes, in government auctions. Yes, government auctions. Mm.
Role is to collect money and report on what was collected.
Okay, so if your role is to collect money and then document what was sold and collected, then we should not have this issue here.
No, we can't.
How? Because you have more money at the bank than the GTRs are showing, right? I think that's the issue. We have more money in there than the GTRs actually are showing. So who's actually responsible? Exactly. So, and that's the reason why I think I'm not sure if the PS would be able to do that, but this would be the responsibility of the AGD to fix, to find out. How many transactions are we talking about? Mhm. Mm. Mhm.
Okay. discrepancy between the valuers reports in terms of all the assets that were boarded and eventually what was sold and realized, but allow us to do internal consultation and then we will be able.
Yes, I think we can allow her to go and check, because if you look at the responses and the actual issue being raised may seem to be different. I would also suggest the AGD also to familiarize themselves with the Auction Act as well, because you have a role there as a responsibility about the law. You've been given some responsibility in the law, and you need to take that. All right, we can move.
We have reviewed your query and noticed that Appendix Q totals to 950,500 as opposed to the amount of 311,000 reported in your query. Additionally, out of the total of 950,500, GTRS an amount of 806,500 have been retrieved for your review. Attached is a copy of the analysis and Appendix Q.
Auditor's comment. Whilst it has been confirmed that the amount in Appendix Q is correct, there still exists a difference of $142,000 for the GTRs not retrieved. Furthermore, the auctioneer's contract and the valuer's contract were not provided to the audit team. The issue remains unresolved. Details are shown in the table below.
Mr. Chair, just give me a minute. Let me try to. Just give me a minute. Let me try to go through the query again. Can I seek clarification on this? Bubakar, these auction receipts, when you refer to the manual receipts, like usually you used to have the manual receipts that were drawn during the audit process, not the GTR. You know, usually you have a kind of a document that indicates the amount that they usually would have to forward to the cashier to pay. I'm not sure whether these were actual GTRs. Because as far as I know, we had provided the GTRs because this should form part of, you know, the series is the series within the GTRs that were provided. So As far as this query is concerned, if my memory can serve me very well, it had to do with the those manual receipts that were being drawn during the audit process. So, yeah, the auction process.
Honorable Chair, these are GTRs, not other receipts. In fact, they have confirmed in their management response. Go back to your management response.
Okay, maybe you allow us to go back and maybe look at this. I'm saying allow us to go and have a look at it, and we give you an update. Yeah, as part of the updates we will provide to the assembly by the 25th. Mr. Chair, give us one unique date so that we provide the because we will be providing a holistic report.
Mr. Chair, this is in twofold. Madam Clara will provide, will look at the GTRs, but Minister of Finance will help us with the valuers, auctioneer contract and the valuers contract.
Yes, those reports. I am surprised that you're saying we did not provide, but okay, we'll go because they're available. I know the valuation report is there, but allow us to go back. Mr. Chair, allow us for the 25th for everything. So, okay, so that we wouldn't have, submissions in piecemeal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The difference is summing up to an amount of 468,700 between the Vista Bank transfer advice and the scanning process recorded by GRA were due to casting errors in the GRA Excel sheet for the months affected. Nonetheless, necessary adjustments has been made to correct these errors, and an updated reconciliation statement is available for review. Management will continue in strengthening internal controls and procedures in the recording of the receipts and reconciling scanning proceeds to prevent the recurrence of such discrepancies in the future. Thank you.
Audit.
Auditor's comment. We have reperformed calculation based on the updated statement received. However, the differences for the following months remain unresolved.
About 3 months.
Yes,
this
Honorable
has
sir.
reduced the amount to 187,000.
That is correct.
777.
Correct, sir.
Okay, we were not provided with this update. We were not aware of these other reconciling item here. But however, a fully reconciled schedule is available and we can provide it.
You can provide the fully reconciled
Schedule.
schedule.
Yes.
We give you 1 week.
Tomorrow we can provide it.
Okay.
Hmm? Yes, yes, sir.
I think AG will also do.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, AG.
Yes, I want to observe that maybe since they're saying that they did not see the further comment, and as we speak now, they are ready to submit. I just want to caution that whatever was done, whatever work was done, they should do it bearing in mind that the auditors have further observed some discrepancy. So maybe I would advise that whatever they have done, they should look at this so that it would be accommodated, as opposed to just sending something that they had done before without considering this. But if they think as of now they have considered what the auditors' further comments are, maybe it is okay. But just to say this so that it wouldn't be missed.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. You can take note of the pending issues.
Yeah, that point is noted. However, in subsequent years, this observation did not occur again.
Okay.
So it means we've done enough work to ensure this issue is properly taken care of. Yeah.
Let's move to the next issue, 126. Duplication of receipt numbers. The amount involved accumulated to 2,222,981. And then on that, the audit recommended that management should ensure that the entries in the Excel reports are reviewed properly and the discrepancies noted in the reconciliations are investigated and amended. Management response.
Okay, thank you. This point is linked to the previous point. It says the multiple recording of receipts numbers was due to manual errors in the data entry by the inputting officer. However, these errors only affect the receipt numbers and have no impact on the amounts. Therefore, they do not result in a misstatement of 2.2 as highlighted by the auditors. Management will continue in strengthening their view process and controls in recording of scanning receipts to prevent such discrepancies in the future. Thank you.
Auditors comment. The issue remain unresolved.
Yari?
Yes, the schedule we're going to provide tomorrow will also solve this issue.
The update will address.
This is address.
Okay, let's move to page 128. No issue. I'm following what we reviewed and then sent it. That's this time around, that's for Ministry of Environment. Are they here? Climate change. It's a big issue, climate change. They are here? Environment is also here.
It looks like they're not here.
And who will take care? Iggy?
It's them.
It's them when they are not here?
So we call them to come.
Yes, audit.
Honorable Chair, I think we skipped the previous finding that deposit slips not provided. It's ranked as high. I know we skip it during our review.
It's not marked, so I took that.
Yeah.
127, mandatory fine, deposit slips not provided, and this amounted to 763,350, and the audit recommended that the police headquarters should ensure that deposit slips for the following collections listed in the table above, which are received in the FMIS to provide for the team inspection. And management response. Management? AG, who is that?
This deposit slips not provided. Sorry.
127. Is it for interior or police? Who should respond?
The observation is noted, and police has been engaged to provide the requested documentation.
National audit.
Auditors comment. We have reviewed the deposit slips and receipt provided. noted that deposit slips amounted to $86,000 still remain outstanding. The table below illustrates this as follows.
Finance? Well, finance read it. Where's IGB? Interior was written to. And this should be IGP. Yes. So Clara cannot comment on it.
You know, we actually work with police during the audit exercise, and they provided documentation. So this was very specific to the police then, so we wouldn't be able to know why, because these were receipts and deposits, because they handle their deposits at their end.
Okay, can you contact them, let them provide updates on or before on the 25th? They can't come. If they can come tomorrow, fine. But we want the update on or before on the 25th. Huh? Accountant General, you contact them for update. If they come tomorrow, fine. We move to 28, environment. Unaccounted government revenue affecting certain businesses, and the amounts involved $8,614,800 US, and then which is equivalent to 441,250 or 441 million rather, 250,056 dollars. See, and that the audit recommended that action should be taken by the management to investigate the accountability of revenue generated through the exportation of timber and details furnished to the Office for Verification. Management response.
Mr. Chair, this query is for the Ministry of Environment.
Yes.
And the response was that a total of 199,827,576 was realized from the sale of timber and was paid into the special deposit held at the central bank under the timber proceeds 411851. Please find attached the general ledger report and evidence of the banking proceeds in Appendix Y. The 29th bank statement of the special deposit is also available on request.
Audit?
Auditor's comment. We could not confirm the total amount realized from the sale from May to December 2019, since the number of containers shipped were not provided. Therefore, the finding remain the same. Further calculations of the 2,393 container shipments from Gambia Post Authority reveal unaccounted revenue of $241,962,480 is as detailed below.
Mr. Chair, you know, we actually the management response was provided by AGD because we handled the bank account where this money was deposited into. So we carried out the analysis of the proceeds vis-a-vis what has been collected. But then, in terms of what is spending, this has been attributed to the number of containers that the computation was attributed to the number of containers, and as such, this falls under the purview of the Ministry of Environment, given the fact that they were the ones who collected this revenue line item, the sale of Fpac. This is actually a prior year matter. This was way before I think this was way back in 2019. So it's been brought forward as a prior year matter that is unresolved.
That means could be found in the previous
yes
the reports
and in the resolutions
the
also.
resolutions.
Yeah, yes.
Then we'll try to check what their response is in the resolutions, if they had even given us update. Environment. Or still we demand that you contact them to give us update on or before on the 25th. Right?
Okay, we can engage them on this matter for them to provide an update.
You can call them, yeah? You can call them. Okay. Then we move to page 133, geology, also under environment, failure to provide information. The affected areas are indicated in the table, and under the audit recommended that the management of geology to provide this information without delay to the audit team for review. Management response: geology is not here. AGD.
Will collect the requested data, that is the volume of materials extracted from the period for the period under review.
Auditor's comment. Contrary to management response, the geological department fails to provide this information up to the time of finalizing this management letter.
And the date the situation supposed to be regularized was 26 October 2024. And can you contact them as well for update on the regularization? Huh? Geology. Also 25th February, failure to pay the government share of sand mining royalties. This also a query. The company involved with the Gach mining company, the amounts reviewed are involved 739 or 882,253 will be found in Appendix S. And the bank statement also shows 739,818. The outstanding balance is 92,835, which is equivalent to US dollar, which is equivalent to 4,875,062.5. That is still unpaid to the government. On that, the audit recommended that the geological department engage that mining company to settle the outstanding balance to government in line with the agreement and detailed furnished to the office for verification. Management response.
Honorable Chair, I wish to request that we shelve this for geology.
We serve this for geology. Yeah. The clerk, can you contact them so that they appear tomorrow? Right? Good. So those two, that is 133 and this 135. I'm not sure if there's any other issue about geology. And 137, that one is resolved. $138 also failure to pay the training and institutional support also for geology. $140 geology. $141.
48.
Up to 148.
No, up to 144.
144.
Yes.
The hard copy.
The hard copy. But the book is different.
144.
148.
Issuance of licenses without evidence payment, also geology.
We are going to non-disclosure of revenue, Chair. Non-disclosure of revenue, quarrying royalties. That should be 144. That's Accountant General. Yes.
Non-evidence of approved tariff. They stop at 148. So we continue 149. We've passed that. Up to 148 for geology. Yeah. So 149. Let's continue from 149.
144 relates to Accountant General. I think they should be able to answer that.
144.
Yes, please. That is non-disclosure of revenue. Non-disclosure of revenue. Non-disclosure of revenue quarrying. That is at the level of Accountant General, not geology.
Accountant General?
Yeah, 3.12.8.9.
AG. The non-disclosure revenue, that is the quarrying royalties. The difference involved 46,996,261, and the audit recommended that the Accountant General should adjust the financial statements to ensure that the correct revenue amount is disclosed. Management response.
Mr. Chair, we are saying the understatement, understated revenue from clearing royalties amounting to 43,939,961 represents the total collection for which the share to the considered revenue fund was transferred half yearly after the reconciliation between AGD and geology. Please note that this amount is captured in 19222. The heavy mining, sand mining royalty amount was disclosed in the financial statement for the year under review because these funds was not disclosed in the financial year for the year under review because these funds were deposited in a standalone bank account at the central bank and transferred and captured in May 2022.
Auditor's comment.
Auditor.
According to the accounting policies disclosed in the financial statements, non-tax and other revenue collected by ministries and departments are recognized when received by the relevant entity of the government. Contrary to the accounting policies, Accountant General has failed to recognize revenue as required. Therefore, the finding still remains unresolved up to the time of finalizing this management letter.
Okay, Mr. Chair, we do acknowledge the fact that this was a weakness as a result of the way it was being accounted for, because then we used to have the total collection in a BTL, under a BTL, then we would now do the movement based on the sharing ratio. But from end 2023 or from 2024, we are no longer having this we will no longer have this issue because we are using the gateway to collect, and the entire collection is received and recorded using the IFMIS, and we would then, as a result, the entire amount would be disclosed in the FS. So this is no longer an issue after the operationalization of the payment gateway.
We'll confirm in the subsequent audit, probably in 2025. Thank you. Honorable Chair, the next issue also is the same as the previous one. Recognize mining royalties, heavy mineral. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same. Yes, please. We will confirm in our subsequent audit 2025 onwards. That is geology. Yes, that's fisheries.
Yeah, the permanent secretary, fisheries, is here. We hand it over to her. The permanent secretary, Ministry of Fisheries, is here. We hand it over to.
There was a signed document on the tariff from the previous director with the rate of $60 is for streams, $40 is for fish and cephalopod,
that is dementia species, and the $25 is for small pelagic species. But due to documentation issues, this document could not be traced. This was around 2017. On the rate for the Sardinella species, the meeting was held on the 25th of June 2020. See reference number 1 to review the FOB for the pelagic species, and that the meeting concluded that the rate for small pelagic, that is the Sardinella, valued at $10 per kilo. Currently, the department is on the process of developing a policy on the administration of the 10% catch landings, and that this query will be captured in the policy. Please find attached the minutes of the above mentioned meeting. That is Appendix D.
Auditor's comment. Evidence of approved tariff as claimed in the management response remain unpresented up to the time of finalizing this management letter. The meeting minutes only cover the discussion on Sardinella and mackerels.
Yes, the policy was developed, and the issue now is we are reviewing our act and a regulation. And we concluded that before we conclude this policy, which is also going to affect the act and the regulation, we put it on hold until we have concluded our act and regulation. Currently, the act and regulation are at the drafting stage with the Ministry of Justice. So that is the status quo. Unless we proceed with the policy and amend the policy once the act and the regulations are done, beside that we have to wait because the process at the Ministry of Justice is not controlled by us. That's what I'm saying. The policy will affect some part of the act. Unless we want to now, we recommend that we just go ahead with the policy, and then we can amend when the act also is ready. We can also do that, if that is the recommendation of the committee. Sought by FAO, and they are also very much concerned. But because of the thin or the skeletal nature of drafters at the Ministry of Justice, this is a specialized area. There are very few drafters. So this is slowing that process, and I don't think we can do much to change that condition. To the best of my knowledge, they told us that they are processing. I cannot confirm whether they, yeah, exactly. But if we want also, we can do as I propose. If that is okay, we can just go ahead and then have this policy, or we can just go ahead and have the tariff to be gazetted. And then we can use that in the meantime until the acts are ready, which will affect the tariffs. Then we can also change as at that time, if that is okay.
Yes, yes. I think it's better because the process of drafting takes time, And once done, then they need to go to cabinet, then validation or validation cabinet. That may take a year or more. And I think it's better for them to go ahead with the policy and then gazette it, and then once the act is done, because even when the act comes to parliament also, it may take 6 months or 1 year, depending on whatever it is, anything controversial. So you may end up seeing that the beginning of the preparation of the act all the way to the passing may take 2 years actually, sometimes even more than that. So I think it's better you go ahead with the second option, which is to review the policy and then gazette and we move on until when the act comes in, when it's passed, then you can amend whatever you need to amend again on the policy.
Okay, noted. We'll proceed accordingly. The draft is just to validate, but then we after we completed the draft, we feel that we need to, because we are doing alongside the process of this act, we felt that it will be a duplication to do this and then do it again. But then, just like Honorable said, I think I will also agree that we need to just do this. When the act comes, we can review it again.
Yes, I just need clarity here because the query in question is about the approved tariffs. So I'm not sure whether the policy will address the issue of the tariff or not. That needs to be clarified.
Yes, the policy is talking about the whole thing, the 10%. That's talking about the 10% in total. The tariff, as the information is saying, is there was a tariff which they could not trace. So now we cannot just deal with the tariff when we don't actually have a policy around the landing itself. So I think it will be the best practice for us to do both at the same time.
I think his submission is okay. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Chair, we are asking for about 90 days. Yes. We need to consult other stakeholders, in it. So I think if we are to work on only the draft, is fine. But then you want us to do it properly. We need to consult other stakeholders because we stopped at drafting. We have not done the consultation with stakeholders. And thank you, Chair. the management hereby provide receipt of the aforementioned cash data and a correspondence to the company for the settlement of the remaining balance of as attached in Appendix F. A letter has already been sent to the company to effect payment of the outstanding balance.
Auditor's comment. The receipt provided, as stated in the management response, was in respect of the $950,000. However, the balance of $1,941,000 in respect of areas of 10% landing fee remains unpaid up to the time of finalizing this management letter. We are concerned that the Department of Fisheries delay in addressing the outstanding areas, only sending a payment reminder to the company on 6 August 2023, despite the fact that the payment had been overdue for 3 years.
Currently, we have gathered all these pending payments and we are forwarding them to the Ministry of Justice for legal action. All the pending payments that we are unable to retrieve or clear, we are forwarding them to Ministry of Justice for legal action. I say we are compiling them, all of them together. We've not yet forwarded. We will be forwarding them to Ministry of Justice. Yes. In 2 weeks, we can do that. Yes. Yes, this issue, when I look at it, we invited the affected company. The company did put a position, even though we did not agree. But then they said at the time they had some issues with the ministry in terms of the landing, in terms of landing the fish or the value of the fish. In terms of payment, there was this back and forth, but then we have no evidence as to prove that because I was not there at the time. I can only rely on information that are written. So in the absence of that, several meetings were made, and then we now instructed the company to make payment. Otherwise, we will forward the matter to the Ministry of Justice. And up to last week, I have personally called all these companies and give them the final chance that if they don't pay now this matter, we have no option but to send it to Ministry of Justice for processing, a legal process, sorry. Yes, beside this, we also have existing issues, and then we don't want them to appear in audit queries. We are dealing with them and trying to forward them to Ministry of Justice to deal with them before, in fact, the auditors come. I think the last time I checked, there are about 8. 8, yes. Certainly, we can do that. Yeah. Okay. All right, we will do that. Okay. meeting minutes were not found. However, consultative committee meeting was scheduled for 28 November 2024, which was conducted. And let me stop there. Maybe later I will come with the additional information.
Auditor's comment. Evidence of consultative committee meeting minutes and fines and the fines imposed on this vessel remain unpresented up to the time of finalizing this management letter.
Yeah, on that day, we did promise that we were going to conduct that consultative committee meeting because this process was not conducted, so that charges will be conferred on them. And this was done on the 28th, the same date, that very date, and the companies were communicated to that the fines were finally imposed on them, and then they were communicated to. I cannot remember the date, but then this was after the 28th meeting. A week or so after. 2024, yes. This particular group also will fall, the particular group will also fall within the issues to be forwarded to Ministry of Justice. Because some of them, they are saying that because of the time, some of them, we had engagement with them. Some of them, their lawyers wrote to us, indicating that at the time of the offense, they felt that they were not communicated. But from our understanding from Ministry of Justice, it doesn't necessarily have to be immediately after your offense was created. And some of these companies also, they don't exist. They are not in existence. They are not active now, I can say. They are not active. No, they were existing at the time they were operating, but they ceased operation, if that is the right way to say it. They ceased operation. So we found it difficult to communicate to them. But those we communicated to also came up with their position, which we feel we should now forward to. If I could recall, I think the Fengais, we communicated to those ones, Fengai 3, Fengai 1, and the Majilak. Superfly, I don't think we are able to get to them. Right. Also, can we provide you their position? Some of them, their lawyers wrote to us with their position. You want that also? Okay, all right.